Hi guys, it's Holly here at Faces, and this morning I am sat down with the lovely Demi, who is the owner of Alexandra Aesthetics. Demi, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me today.
That's okay.
So let's just start off and kick things off by talking about your business then. So do you want to just tell us a bit about how you got into the industry and how you got your business to where it is today?
When I entered the industry, so basically I had no prior sort of medical experience, anything like that. I actually worked in a completely different sector. So
Okay.
I used to sell cars for a living, but I absolutely hated it. And I knew I always wanted to be self-employed and have my own business in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So when I started having my own aesthetic treatments done with one of my local practitioners, she was just talking about how the industry is and how positive it is and how non-medics actually can do it. And obviously when I was younger, I used to love everything medical. So I always wanted to be a plastic surgeon when I was older.
Wow.
So I used to watch like 24 Hours in A&E with my dad, all like the really gory stuff, and I
Yeah.
used to absolutely love it. So I did a lot of research and started looking at courses, what it would take to obviously enter the industry, because I wanted to do it correctly, just because obviously it is a very, very serious industry to enter. So yeah, did a lot of research and ended up training with a Harley Street training school.
Yeah.
And I ended up studying for 8 months, doing all like my exams before I did any practical training. And then obviously once I passed all my exams, went on to do my practical training, which was really lovely because I did one-on-one training as well. It wasn't group training.
Oh, amazing.
And then yeah, decided to set up Alexandra Aesthetics. And yeah, it was actually really scary at first to
Yeah.
go from being employed to then running your own business
Yeah,
and
you're like,
going
oh
out
my
into the
God, I'm
world
on
on your
my
own.
own now. So what was it,
Yeah.
obviously having an interest in like plastic surgery and the medical side of things when you were younger,
Yeah.
what was it that made you not decide to go to university to study?
So it's actually really sad. So I missed my marks. And obviously, when you're back in school, I just got my knickers in a twist, essentially, threw all my toys out of the pram, and I just gave up. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I put all this effort in, and then obviously I've missed X, Y, and Z. So yeah, I was just a typical young teen that just obviously, yeah, threw her toys out the pram, was like, I'm not doing it anymore, and just went into an employed life. And obviously, as I got older, I was like, you know what? You've got to chase your dreams.
Yeah, 100%. And do you know what? It's so amazing and like refreshing that, no, you're not a plastic surgeon, but
Yeah,
it's you've still been able to get into a field which is,
yeah,
medical aesthetics, and
yeah,
you're still, having to learn about the anatomy, you're still having to learn about patient safety and all of those
yeah,
things, whilst actually just
100%.
running your own business. You're not obviously working for the NHS. So I think
Yeah,
everything happens for a reason. I'm such a strong believer in that. And
yeah,
your business is, from what I can see, is at a really, really fantastic position right now, which is great. So obviously
yeah,
when you qualified and you'd finished your exams and everything, and you kind of like left on your own and you're like, oh my God, like what am I doing? What what
yeah.
what would you say really helped you build that client base, and what sort of worked for you in that sense?
So when I first qualified, I worked a lot on family and friends. I mean, I was quite, like I say, lucky in the sense that obviously I invested that little bit of more money to do one-on-one training. So like my first official day of injecting, which was with medical professionals, I did like 20 clients by myself, which was actually quite overwhelming. But I think that helped drastically because obviously it gave me the confidence and the knowledge to then be able to go and practice on family and friends.
Yeah.
And I did that for quite a fair few months before I actually started treating paying clients,
Yeah.
just to obviously build up my confidence. And yeah, I mean, obviously, when I first started, it's daunting, for anyone that's new entering the industry. It's not something that you just go, do you know what, yeah, I can absolutely do this. But you're still going to have that sort of daunting, overwhelming experience, especially for your first few clients. It's about building your confidence.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, I was quite lucky as well in the sense that I could go back to my training school and ask them for advice if I needed it. It wasn't like one of those training schools where you've had your pass now, off you go, and that was it. All like contact was cut loose. I actually went back and did all my advanced training with them because they were that great as well.
Oh, amazing. And do you know what? I
Yeah,
think when it comes to the training side of things, obviously there's so many training schools out there. I think for a lot of people
Yeah.
that are even considering going into the industry, it's like, where do I even start? You know, there's
Yeah.
so many training academies, and I think obviously there's a lot of academies who offer very like cheap courses. So naturally, a lot of people would be inclined to go to, you know, the
Yeah.
cheapest one they see. But I
It's
think
trying to filter through people who are actually in the industry because they have a genuine passion for it and want obviously people to have the same passion and same experience, and filtering through obviously that, or someone who is just in it for the money, unfortunately.
yeah, definitely. And you know what? Every single person that I've spoken to who is smashing their business and doing really well and has built some really loyal clients, it's never been the money at the forefront. You know, it's always been, you know, that passion, that, you know, drive to actually help people and,
Yeah.
you know, really just build a business. You know, I think there are so many people out there who see it as a quick fix. It's like, oh, I'll do
Yeah.
a 2-day course and then within a few weeks I'll be making like $1,000 a day. And it
Yeah.
doesn't like that. And I think
No.
you'd be quite naive to think it is. But you know, it seems like all your hard work has certainly paid off anyway, and you know, your business is in a fantastic position. So when it comes to your sort of client base, what sort of demographic are you working with? So is there a sort of specific age group or specific kind of treatments that you really specialize in?
So my demographic is quite mixed. I mean, I do get a large proportion of my clients that are obviously more of the younger generation, but I do also have older generation clients, and I also have male as well that come to me. But obviously some males aren't specifically confident with obviously having their faces shown on like Instagram. So obviously it's not something that I will always advertise, because I'll also respect my clients' wishes in the sense that if they don't want to be shown, then that is completely fine. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't do that sort of client. And I mean, specializing wise, one of my biggest things, which obviously is in my bio on Instagram, I specialize in lips mainly. I mean, I've worked so hard to get like the right technique. I've tried so many different needles, so many different syringes, so many different fillers, and I think now I've got my niche. So I'd say, yeah, my lips is probably like my main aspect of what I'm best at.
Amazing. Is that what you enjoy to do the most as well?
Yeah. I think lips and liquid non-surgical rhinoplasty is like my two favorites. They're complete game changers, totally change the face.
100%. And I think when it comes to non-surgical rhinoplasty as well, and lips as well, but more so non-surgical rhinoplasty, you know, a lot of people get it to really help with an insecurity that they've had. And I love the fact that it's such an accessible treatment for people. You know, you don't have to go under the knife, you don't have to spend 10 grand on a nose job. You can just find a practitioner who you trust, and in half an hour you've got a totally new nose. And I think it's fantastic.
Do you know what, the amount of times I've had clients, especially with non-surgical rhinoplasty, and that's probably the only treatment I've ever had a client where they've cried after their results out of happiness because you fix that insecurity. And I think that's one of the bestest feelings ever to have as a practitioner, to know that you've helped someone that much.
I've got like goosebumps. Obviously, you know, the aesthetic side of things was potentially something that you were kind of always kind of destined to do. You know, you had that passion from a young age in terms of like the plastic surgery side of things. But what would you say is like your favorite thing about what you do at the moment?
Do you know what? It's because before I came into the industry, because I know how much it helped boost my confidence when I had my own treatments done. It's the feeling of knowing that, especially after like you get your client feedback, especially like, you know, a couple of days after, and also straight after treatment, it's that feeling that I get knowing that I've helped my client that much that they can go out and be as confident as they ever and live, you know, their best self. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I've always said to my clients, the worst question they can ask me is when they come into clinic is, what do you think I need done? I hate that question, because no one needs anything. But it's whatever your insecurity is, or, you know, anything that you want to boost your confidence, or to do this, to do that, and we will do that, because it's you but enhanced, essentially.
I think it's quite bittersweet, isn't it? Because it's, of course you're never going to say, well, you need this and you need this.
But
on the flip side, that client just trusts you, and they trust that, you know, the decisions that you're going to put to them, because you're an expert and because you're a specialist. So I think it's great that, I mean, I'm the same. When I go to my practitioner, I'm like, whatever you think I need, just do it. That's just down to trust. That's not me being like insecure. It's just like, I know that they'll be able to spot things that I won't be able to spot. But obviously, as a practitioner, you wouldn't want to just list off a load of things, because so it's like finding that balance, isn't it?
100%.
So with regards to sort of the runnings of your business then, so you've used Faces for a long time now, which is great. You know, you're very much a loyal Faces user. What would you say are the features which have really helped you with running your business, and what your favorite things about Faces?
Do you know what, it's just the fact that everything is in one. I mean, I've used Faces from the first day that I ever got insured with InSync, which was literally like a couple of days after I qualified and got my certificates and everything else. But it's just it's like I say, everything is in one place. The fact that you can do your consent form, so you never need to worry about, you know, paper trail and GDPR. The fact that you've got the pharmacy section, where obviously you've literally got thousands and thousands of prescribers. And I mean, recently I just found out about like a couple of months ago, about the complication management system, which I subscribe to, which I think is absolutely amazing, especially because obviously if there's anything that your training school doesn't help or can't help you with, you've got them there to help you, and they're on hand 24/7. So it's just the fact that everything is all in one, and it's a really supporting network.
Yeah, good. No, that's lovely feedback. Thank you. I think touching on the complication side of things, I think, you know, a client, you might treat a client and everything seems fine, but then actually it's a few hours later when a complication becomes apparent. And if it's 12 o'clock at night, you can't be calling your training school. No, you know, the chances or being able to help are very, very limited. So actually having that 24/7 service for the price of like 2 coffees a month, where you know, you and your client have got that confidence that even if you just needed a second opinion about a treatment, doesn't even have to be a complication, you've got somebody at hand 24 hours a day who is medically qualified and obviously a aesthetics practitioner as well. Like, it's probably one of my favorite things that we offer, to be honest, because I think it's just so invaluable. And I think it just kind of boils down to everything that we have on Faces is there to either save you time and make things easier for you as a practitioner, support you. And I think a lot of people, they download Faces and it's like, oh my god, there's so much on here, it's kind of overwhelming, particularly because it's a free app. It's like, hold on, like here. But I just say to practitioners, you know, every single feature that we have has its purpose. You know, we don't just put things in there for the sake of it. You know, everything is there to, you know, make things easier for you to run your business, to be accessible, to save you time, to support you, like all of those things. So it's
constantly evolving as well, which is great, because obviously I never used to offer like finance or anything, but obviously when that feature became available, I was straight on it. Like I've noticed that the app's changed in the way that obviously your consent forms and everything's ran. Like I've seen that it's now taking deposits. So it's constantly changing and obviously evolving. Yeah,
that's it. And the development of Faces, we're led by you as practitioners. How we develop the app, you know, is there something that we need that we don't have? Is there something that we've got which isn't quite working? You know, we rely on like the feedback of practitioners. We're not using it on a day-to-day basis. We're just like running it and hoping for the best, you know. So it's so important that we get that feedback from you guys who are using it within clinic day in, day out, and you know, doing things like purchasing from the pharmacy supports us in being able to develop the app as well. You know, we don't make you know, we don't charge for the app, so there's ways which you as a user can support us in terms of our growth as well. So I think it's nice that we all help each other and it's like a nice little community. So moving on to the regulation side of things then, Demi. So obviously not been announced as of yet, but there has been talk of the traffic light system that the government have put together, and they are actually asking for feedback from everyone at the moment, which I
Yes.
think is great. So you're able as a practitioner to give your views, or a non-practitioner, you know, everyone can give their views at the moment. But so it's a really important time. What are your kind of thoughts on that from a personal point of view?
Do you know what? I think it's great, and I think regulations should be brought into place because it is the industry is obviously growing. And I think it's like we said at the beginning, these regulations need to filter through the people that are obviously in the industry because they've got a genuine passion for the industry, genuine passion for their business, genuine passion to obviously keep their clients safe and everything else. And then obviously trying to filter out the people that are just in it for the money, because to be brutally honest, if you're in it for the money, you shouldn't be in this industry, because obviously it's not just, putting a needle in someone's face. There's so many risks and complications. And if you can't manage that and you haven't got the skills or the equipment to manage that, then it's not an industry you should be in at the end of the day.
And even the empathy as well, like client care, building that relationship and
100%.
being there for your client, if not just sending them on their way after a treatment, checking in on them. How's your treatment? How's everything going? Just being a support for them.
The amount of clients that I've had come into me from obviously previous experiences, I think that's one of the most things that I'm probably proud of and most humble about with my business, is the fact that I've had so many clients that I would be an absolute millionaire if I could put a pound on every time a client's come in and said, wow, this experience is so much different to my last experience. Like, my last experience felt rushed and I didn't get the same care and everything else. And you've been so gentle and so informative and everything else. I think that's the most important thing and the most successful thing out of obviously starting my business.
Yeah, no, amazing. And I think it shows, because those are the things that you can learn skill, you can improve your techniques. But if you're just, leaving your client and, spending 10 minutes with them and it's like a conveyor belt, that's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to be helpful for you, or most importantly, your client. And I think, clients, and I can speak from being a client myself, that appointment might be the highlight of that person's month or the week. They might be having a bad time at home, they might be really stressed at work, and actually just having that experience from when they book in to after the treatment can be so important to that person. It's a chance for them to just lay on the couch, offload to you as a practitioner, get some which are going to make them feel good and look amazing. And it can be a really, really important part of that person's whole week.
100%. So I do think regulations should come into practice 100%.
And we can certainly have another chat once the regulations do come in and see where we are. But thank you so much for chatting with me today, lovely. It's been so good to speak.
That's okay.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll catch you.
Have a lovely weekend as well.
Oh, you too. Bye.
Bye.